Hey, welcome into the Stinkin Truth Podcast alongside Mike Evans. I am Mark Schlereth. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Please share it with people and, subscribe and do all those things. Anyhow, how are you, Mike? Man, always good to be with you, buddy.
Good to see you. It's not often that we start off our podcast talking about a kicker, but Justin Tucker cut by the Baltimore Ravens. This after he was accused of inappropriate behavior by 16 massage therapists from 8 different Baltimore spas and wellness centers. He's also coming off a career low year where he really dropped precipitously when it came to his kicking stats, oftentimes over 80-90% conversion rate on most of his field goals. That dropped to a career low 73%. So that now he's been cut. Safe to say, not a happy ending for Justin Tucker.
I see what you did there. First off, if Justin Tucker was an all-pro kicker and still really good and hadn't had that off year, you'd have just see how this investigation played out, right?
Yep.
16 different accusers. Now, first thing that always gives me pause, when a guy is bouncing around from massage parlor to massage parlor, instant red flag, because every organization in football has chiropractors, they have cryotherapy, they have massage therapists, they have all those things. And so all those things are at your beck and call. You're not bouncing around to massage parlors with different people. When you find a great, as an athlete, hell, I think this is probably pretty standard if you're just an average Joe. If you find a great massage therapist, you don't bounce around going from massage therapist to massage therapist to massage therapist. You don't. If you are doing this, especially when it comes to trying to develop peak performance, you're not bouncing around. You're dealing with massage therapists that work for your organization. One, because you don't want to pay for them. And if you do have to pay for them, if you do, you're okay with paying for them, but you want to make sure that you have experts. So you're not getting it from massage parlors, right? You're not doing that. Listen, I had the same massage therapist I played for the Broncos for 6 years. And I started using massage when I got to the Broncos. And those guys our massage therapists worked for the Broncos. And, oh, by the way, we all used the same guy. And his name was Steve, and he weighed 300 pounds. And never once did I think about rolling over from my stomach to my back and go, hey, Steve, what are we going to do about this down here? You know what I'm talking about? Never once did I think about doing that. And so professional athletes don't bounce around. When they find a massage therapist that's good, they stick with that one. So I'm not calling the guy guilty, but I am calling him suspect. There are some things that don't line up here. Now, that said, like I said earlier, if he had a Pro Bowl, all-pro year and made 90% of his field goals, guess what? They're going to let the investigation play out. But this goes to what I said about Shedeur Sanders in regards to him dropping in the draft. I heard a lot of people claim racism, and I heard a lot of people claim this, that, and the other. Here's the bottom line.
Yep.
If you have generational talent, we'll put up with some shit. But if you don't have generational talent, we're not putting up with your garbage.
Yep.
And for Shedeur, you don't have generational arm talent or athletic ability. You don't. So you damn well better ace the meetings. You can't come in to a meeting and they ask you a question and go, hey, what would you do in this cover 4? How would you attack this cover 4? Doesn't matter. I'm legendary. You can't go down that road. And the same thing goes for Tucker, man. If you're an all-pro guy and you're still kicking at the top of, the top level, we're going to probably let this thing play out. But because you've had an off year and because you're not what you once were, c'est la vie, man. And that's how the NFL works.
Yep, absolutely. Speaking of guys coming out of the draft who maybe need to read the room a little better. How about Abdul Carter? So goes high in the draft, out of Penn State, dynamic pass rusher, gets drafted by the New York Giants, and within a couple days of being drafted, says that he wants Lawrence Taylor's number 56 and that he has gone to Lawrence Taylor, contacted Lawrence Taylor about wearing number 56, to which Lawrence Taylor rightfully said, pound sand. I guess what's your reaction to him just even making the request in the first place? That's pretty ballsy.
It's both ballsy and stupid. And so I go back to my take on Deshaun Kaiser when he came out and said, I got the body of Cam Newton and the brains of Tom Brady. Yeah. And I was like, instantly I take him off my draft board because the guy is completely like, he's insane. Like you don't understand how hard this is. And your lack of a self-awareness would really be a concern for me. So the fact that Abdul Carter comes out and says, hey, man, let me reach out to Lawrence Taylor. I'd like to wear 56 because I'm that good. And Lawrence Taylor's like, what are we talking about? Go make your own number, dude. Like, save that. And then he goes to Phil Simms, whose number's retired, 11, because Penn State linebackers, if you're really good, you wear 11. Then he goes to Phil Simms. And Phil Simms was like, well, I'd do it, but my family said no. Like, the only passed the buck. Hey, I would love to do it, but my family, they're a bunch of buttholes. Like, I'm sorry. My wife, she's a real, right? So anyhow, like real battle axe over here. That woman is tough. So how clueless are you? Like, is it just like, I've always told you this, defensive players are just dumb. Like, right, you don't have to be real smart to play defense. That's just dumb. That is just flat dumb. I mean, next thing I know, is it a Penn State thing? Has Ty Warren come out, drafted in the first round by Indianapolis? Has Ty Warren come out and said, hey, you know, I'd really like to wear 18. Give me Peyton Manning's number, please. Let me call him. What are we doing? At what point did you come in with this sense of entitlement that you get to pick your number? First thing the team should do, the team, one, don't turn it over to the player and make the player look like an ass.
Right.
The Giants should have stepped up and had some balls. Like, this is the Giants' problem. Have a set of nuts, Giants, and just go when he says, hey, man, I'd really like to, get in contact with Lawrence Taylor and wear 56. The Giants should have said, piss off.
Right.
We retired that number. You ain't wearing 56. Pick a number that nobody has. But they did. They let Malik Neighbors do it with number 3. Like, I mean, it just is. It's insanely stupid. Giants, right? Grow a set of nuts. Be a little bit preemptive when it comes to a knucklehead like this Abdul Carter.
Look, I love your stories. I truly do, even if you've told them, 40 or 50 times. Mm-hmm. But I love, can you just, for everybody out there, tell your Lawrence Taylor story? Because this is awesome. I know what happened on our radio program today, Mike, makes me feel like you don't deserve one of my stories. You just don't deserve it. Like, you make fun of me, and now all of a sudden it benefits you, and you want a Lawrence Taylor. I'm just thinking of the great viewers out there. They would love this story. It's timely. Lawrence Taylor's timely right now. So you got to tell the story about when you were like a rookie playing against him. This is an awesome story, people. Lawrence Taylor may be the most frightening person on the planet. Just absolutely frightening. And, we were a big counter team, like gap scheme, right? Pullers, getting pullers to the opposite side, right? That's a gap. That's a gap in general. When people talk about zone game versus gap game, what you got to think is we're blocking down on the front side and we're getting a backside player, offensive line, to the front side of the play, right? So it's gap down, pull around, right? So we're a big counter team, which is kind of a gap concept. And, every time you line up, every time I'd break the huddle and I had to pull against the Giants, ready, break. And I'd peek down. I'd try to be real. Like, I know he was looking at me, but I'd be like,
Right. Because Lawrence Taylor is down there just frothing at the bit. And I'll never forget, like, lining up, thinking to myself, as I'm going to pull across the formation and trap Lawrence Taylor, I'm like, this is going to hurt me a lot more. It's going to hurt that guy. Like, that guy feels no pain. Like, well, I don't know what he's on, but whatever it is, I'm not on it. And he feels no pain, and it's going to hurt. But, I was a good soldier, so I went out there and did it. So we played. This is 1991, and frankly, we're the best team in football. I'm playing with the Washington Redskins. We're the best team in football, and we put in what we called counter outside. So I'm screaming down the line of scrimmage, and as soon as I'm about to hit Lawrence Taylor, I slip him. Now, the tackle pulls right behind me. Most teams don't run this anymore. Most teams don't run counter with a guard and a tackle. They pull a guard and a tight end, right, or guard and a fullback. That's how the game has changed, but it's still the same exact concept. So I'm going flying down the line of scrimmage, and just at the point of contact, just at the point where I'm going to trap Lawrence Taylor, I slip him. I dip around him, right? And I've got first force, who's ever the alley player. Could be a linebacker, could be a safety, whatever the case may be, right? But I slip Lawrence Taylor, and Joe Jacoby, who's behind me, cuts him. So we execute. We're like, all right, we call counter outside, 77 counter outside. So I'm like, all right, here we go. And now I'm peeking down there going, right?
We
got flying down the line of scrimmage, like, and just about the point of contact, right? There's a point of truth. I slip him, and I go up, and it's a safety running the alley, and I hit the alley, and and Joe Jacoby cuts Lawrence Taylor, and Ernest Biner takes the ball, pops it outside, and we get like 21-yard gain, right? And I swear to you, awesome, man,
this is great.
I am so happy. I just was like bebopping back to the huddle. Like,
don't hold anything back. Use the full language. You gotta use the full language.
So I'm bebopping back to the huddle thinking this is the greatest play ever invented. Like, our coaching staff is so much smarter than everybody else. So I got this big, grin on my face, and all I hear is, "Hey, motherfucker! Hey, mother!" And I'm like looking around, like, what? And it's Lawrence Taylor screaming at me. And I'm like, what? And he just is like, crazy eyes, right? And he's like, if you ever run that play again, I'll fucking kill you. I guarantee you, a little piss trickled down my leg. And I was like, this son-of-a-bitch may have a 9mm in his pants. Like, he may literally.
You're like, don't run it again. We're not going to run it again.
I'm looking at the sideline like, play's no good. We just got 21 yards. No, it's no good. It's no good. We can't run.
I love it. I love that
Dude,
story.
He was like legitimately the guy. I played in a day where I played against Warren Sapp, and I played against Reggie White, and I played against John Randall, and I played against Cortez Kennedy, and I played kind of a who's who of Hall of Fame defensive players back in the day. There is nobody that has ever played the game at any position that was more intimidating than Lawrence Taylor. That sumbitch was frightening, just frightening. And he was so damn good. And I have nothing, if he's listening, I have nothing respect for you. Like, I am still to this day. As a matter of fact, I'm calling a game in Miami. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. And Lawrence plays golf all the time. Like, I think people pay him just to come, like, they fly him out places and he just plays with them, it's a good cottage industry if you're LT. And so we just pull back up. I just talked to the Miami Dolphins, right? I talked to the head coach, the quarterback, and all these people, right? So we bebopping up to the hotel. We're at the Diplomat in Fort Lauderdale, big, beautiful, like, convention hotel. There's 8 million people there. And I'm walking up the stairs. I'm not paying any attention. And Lawrence Taylor's standing at the top of the stairs. And like, we know each other. Like, we don't really know each other, but like, he knows of me. And, and I think he knows enough to know that we played against each other. He doesn't, I guarantee he doesn't remember me, but he knows me enough to know my name. And he goes, "Hey, Mark," just like that. And I looked up, and it was him. And I swear to you, I like dribbled in my pants a little bit. And I was like, is he going to kick my ass right now? I'm like, is he going to kick my ass? Did I do anything? I hope I didn't say anything, Mr. Taylor. I hope I didn't say anything on TV to piss you off. Dude,
that is awesome.
That guy.
That story.
I'm telling you what, that dude's a freak of nature. The fact that you would have, like, it's not even the
circle back now. Yeah, we come back to
it's not even, it's not for Abdul Carter. It's not even the balls to ask. The fact that you don't understand who Lawrence, there's no way you understand who Lawrence Taylor is if you asked him for his number. You have no, like, that's offensive. I'm offended by the fact that you have no understanding of the history of this league and who Lawrence Taylor is, because you don't. There's no way you could know that, and you could still have the balls to ask him.
Speaking of history, your connections to Washington, D.C., the announcement that the draft is going to be there in 2027. It's going to be tucked. It's going to be going on right there amongst the monuments by the big Washington Mall, that huge expanse. If you've ever been there, you know how much room there is. They're expecting over 1 million people. I mean, that is going to be a sight. I mean, we've gotten used now to these massive crowds that show up for the NFL draft, and they're in cool cities and it's a cool look, but wow, what's it going to look like in DC to have 1 million people on the Washington Mall taking in the NFL draft? That's going to be epic.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be like when Forrest Gump was speaking over the mall and he saw Jenny. And he's like, Jenny! And then he came running through the water. And that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Like that.
You know, there'll be a Jet fan that'll probably run through the water.
Oh, dude,
I hate the pick. I hate the pick.
It's gonna be.
It'll
be epic. It'll be so cool. And I tell you what, I did the draft for ESPN. 16 years working at ESPN, and sometimes I was in Bristol, but there were times when I switched from TV because I always stayed in Bristol for the TV aspect of it. And, they'd throw to our set once an hour or whatever, right? So we're just kind of sitting around for 8 hours, whatever it was. And then they asked me to start doing it on radio. And on radio, we were actually at the event, right? And it was in the
Marriott, right? New York?
No, it wasn't the Marriott. It was in the super famous.
It's New York City.
Yeah, it was in New York City, but it was at Radio City Music Hall. I'm sorry. So it was every year it was at Radio City Music Hall. And this is iconic place, right? And so the radio's sitting on the side set and the big TV sets are in there, and it's in this auditorium with all the chairs and everything. And so I did it for years and years for radio, for ESPN, did the draft. And like, you think about all those cool years and all those years that they did it. And then suddenly somebody has the idea of moving it around. And you think to yourself, how did they not do that?
Right,
how did they not figure that out before?
Mm-hmm.
It's like every time I go to Top Golf, same thing. Every time I go to Top Golf, I'm at Top Golf and I'm ordering something to eat, and you're having a drink and you're hitting golf balls and you're looking at the targets. And I think to myself at some point during the course of that time is, how the hell did I not invent this? Like, how did I not invent this?
Yeah.
Same thing with the draft. How did they not think about it until just a few years ago? So it'll be great. Washington will be on point. And like you said, there'll be 1 million people there. It's going to be that's just going to be epic. It's going to be so cool.
So Barry Sanders, another great player that you played against in the same era, came out and said that he believes that the combination of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery can lead the Detroit Lions to a Super Bowl. We're still a ways out, but now that we're starting to get a sense of what teams did in the offseason, if you had to put together a really short list, teams that are facing the most pressure to win this year, who would they be?
Yeah, I think the quarterbacks who have won MVPs that just can't seem to break through in the playoffs. So I'll go by those two teams that I'm thinking about, but it's the quarterbacks. It's Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, no question. You've won MVP, and and you guys got to figure out a way to get over the top. come playoff time. And then it's Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. You've won multiple MVPs at some point, man. The proof's in the pudding. You got to win in the playoffs. So those two teams, based on their quarterbacks, have like a ton to prove. Detroit would be in that list of to me of teams that have a lot riding on this, because eventually the window will close. And it concerns me because you have been you were so incredibly injured last year, right? But you have been that one team that has had this unbelievable couple-year run, and now you've lost both your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator. And we're about to see how much was the players, and I think they've got great players, but there's something to having a great play caller. And Ben Johnson was a great, not a good, but a great play caller, and put those things together and kept guys engaged and kept guys having fun, and always had the trick plays and actually ran them, and guys loved it and celebrated it and all that stuff. So I'm really concerned about their season. And I think that division with Green Bay, with Minnesota, obviously Minnesota won 14. Now they're going to J.J. McCarthy. I don't think they're going to win 14. But Chicago has this feel of Ben Johnson's there now. And, last year their quarterback took 68 sacks. He'll fix that. They'll have a better running game. Like, Chicago feels like a team that's up and coming. So I think the division is incredibly difficult. And now you've lost your play callers. That concerns me a bit for Detroit.
So then would your message to Bears fan be get really excited because of what Ben Johnson will bring? Because I guess this will really test the idea of, is it, the coach, is it the players more than coaches? Because if what you're saying is true and the impact it could be felt on Detroit, then are you expecting a big boost, a big jump for Chicago?
I'm expecting the Chicago Bears to be much better. And, I think a lot of it has to do, people all think it's weapons, which I think is stupid. I think first and foremost, they addressed their offensive line this free agency, right? They try to fix that. The other thing is your offensive play caller. So if your offensive line is just sitting out there getting throttled because you're throwing it 46 times, there's no offensive line in the world that can hold up doing that. So one thing I love about Ben Johnson is their nickel run game is as good as anybody in football. And what I mean by nickel run is second down and 7+, and third down and call it 7+ or 6+. Like, when you probably more like third down and 4+ in today's game. But when you get into those situations, Mike, your menu of runs just shrinks down to almost nothing, and guys don't like to call it. But what you get is if you're good, like your good offensive line, what you're going to get 100% of the time is favorable boxes. Yep. So you're going to get a favorable matchup to run it against. And sometimes it'll be, a lighter side where you'll come rolling up on the strong side, and you'll have one-on-one, like one blocker for one guy on the backside if you want to run belly or want to run weak. So you'll get favorable matchups from just a pure like size and kind of how they line up. So like you'll get a lot of those nickel and dime defenses where you got one linebacker and you got a bunch of DBs. And if you know what you're doing, man, you can run the ball in those situations. And there's nobody better in football than Ben Johnson in those situations, creating breakout runs. I mean, they had so many of them. And so I was doing by the matter of fact, I was doing a Detroit game, and I reached out to one of the guys on our crew, and I said, hey, could you reach out to whoever does NFL stats and, the whatever it was. And I said, can you reach out to them? Like, what I've noticed in the last 3 games I've broken down is how many big time runs on third down and 5+ or third down and 4+ Detroit. And they come back with these numbers that are just like, oh yeah, they're the best team in football when it comes down to third down runs. And part of that is because they know they're going for it on fourth down. But part of that is just the scheme, the inside trap, some of the things they run where they can not even block a guy on the outside and still have a real favorable matchup numbers advantage in the run game.
Well, we shall see what happens. Ben Johnson staying in the division. You know, how much is it weak in Detroit? How much is it strength in Chicago? It's going to be fascinating. That will do it for today. We got a lot more to look forward to a little bit later on this week, but love your stories. Whatever grief I give you, I promise you I love your stories. I do.
And if you're listening, LT, I love you. I respect you. I'm still very scared of you.
And like that. Hey, that always gets me. Ooh, what? You're talking to me?
Why would you be mad at me? I didn't do anything. I didn't even hit you. All right, for everybody involved in the Stinkin Truth podcast, great. We appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share it with your friends and family. Still trying to grow this thing. So help us out in that regard. For everybody involved, we thank you. For Mike, I am Mark, and we'll talk to you later on this week.